Hello,
Hi,
I'm Eric.
I'm Hughes.
I'm Eric.
Daniel.
All right, so what's your name? Tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm Eric, by the way.
So, I'm Steven. A junior at the University of South Carolina. I'm from Maryland, though, so I'm from Columbia, Maryland. Um, yeah, so I'm a sport entertainment management major here. That's pretty much all about me.
Okay, my name's Danielle Denton. I'm from England. I moved here when I was 7, and I've been living in Fort Mill, South Carolina for 13 years. I'm a senior criminal justice major here at USC.
Awesome. My bad.
My name is Sam Orr from Charlotte, North Carolina originally, and graduated from USC, and now I'm a faculty member here.
So, I'm majoring in political science and minoring in Spanish, so that's going well. I've lived in a bunch of different places, but I was born in Italy, but moved around a bunch as a kid. I was a military brat.
I am from New York City, just moved to Charlotte about 4 years ago.
All right, so the first question is going to be so basically, did you grow up in the church, and if so, what was the church like? What was the demographics like, and which denomination?
Okay, I did grow up in church. I started off in a Nigerian church when I was in England, all black church, Pentecostal.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Times Square Church, middle of Times Square, New York City, non-denominational church. I was very involved in it. I did mass communications for them, as well as I was the drummer for the youth ministry, high school and middle school. Basically, we saw all different types of people, over 100 nationalities represented in that church. Uh, no two faces alike kind of thing.
Yeah, I grew up in a Southern Baptist congregation in suburban Charlotte. They had two services on Sunday mornings. One was what they called a contemporary service, and then a more traditional service. And they also had a third service for Hispanic congregation. And so there was a pastor who was on staff who was Spanish.
Second question, I'm going to hit you with this. Do you think the church is segregated? And that's like not exactly what my topic's on, but I'm basically trying to say that the church is divided, and segregation is one of the biggest forms of divide in my eyes. What do you think?
So I would agree with someone saying that the church is segregated. But every church I've ever visited, it seems like it's either majority black, majority Hispanic. I think that's why you see churches that are named in different languages and have mainly one congregation and one type of race there. People have terms like black churches, Hispanic churches, Asian churches. Yeah, I would agree with church being segregated. Yeah.
Basically, is the church segregated? Uh, I think so. And I think the answer comes to that because when I moved to Charlotte, we visited a bunch of churches trying to find a new home church. We never found that same group of people represented as if in Times Square. I think it stems from cultural differences. New York City being, just a huge hub of people just thrown into, a small city. I don't think the church is separated because of racial issues. I just think it's just how it always been, and no one wants to take that step to start feeling uncomfortable meeting new people, inviting new people. Just
So, where I grew up, it was definitely segregated. So, this is bad, but I don't think I remember a single black family in my church or a single black person. Yeah, I would say that churches are segregated, like different races go to different churches, but I have not experienced discrimination or segregation within one church.
All right, the last question that I'll ask you is basically, uh, what are some ways that the church could go about healing this division and attacking the segregation that still exists?
I definitely think there just needs to be proactiveness in terms of reaching out to the community and making it seem more inclusive. Black churches should not maybe call themselves an African American church, and white churches should be more inclusive, outreach to all communities and invite them.
I think what we need to do is present it to the public like this is a problem, because I don't think not a lot of people have like really thought about like, hey, we have like the exact like same church, like we're both Baptist, we're both Methodist, we're like all Catholics, we're all like whatever denomination you are, and like bring it to the public's attention and be like, oh, like why don't we all just like try different churches?
I think one of the biggest things that can be helpful is putting African American staff on a church staff. George Robertson, who's at a church in Memphis now, he was a pioneer in the Presbyterian Church of America for advocating for racial reconciliation. But one of the things he did every year just to create small habits was to place African American pastors in his pulpit. So every January he would take 4 weeks off, and there's going to be a new pastor in the pulpit each week.
So I would probably say that one of the first steps of kind of getting this divide back together, I would probably say, is when these churches do their outreach events, that they don't target specific neighborhoods in the way that they are targeting them to just help them for a weekend. That if many churches go into these very impoverished areas and just help out through these big outreach events, but how many of those people that they reach out to come to church that following Sunday? Where no, instead they should be looking to build their community with all members that love Christ. And I think too often people try to find people that look a lot like them when they do that.
Try to be comfortable?
Just try to be comfortable in their own skin. I think God would see that otherwise.
I think, Times Square Church didn't do anything special. They just said, hey, we want to all praise the Lord together, and everyone just found that. I think it was also because our founding pastor, he tried to reach out to everyone. He reached out to gang members. That's really what it all started about. It all started with a youth ministry solely to reach out to gang members and try to convert them to Christ.
John says in Revelation 7:9 that when he sees heaven, and so he's having this vision. When he sees heaven, he sees people from every tribe, tongue, and nation represented. And all Christians, kind of regardless of whatever background you come from, are familiar with the Lord's Prayer when we say, "Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Right? What that is praying for is that earth would, in as many ways as possible, look like what heaven's going to look like. We want this to resemble heaven to the best degree that we can.